Hello everybody all over the world! Hello, I'm GPS and with me is former teammate and leader and cool heavy guy, Atomicus. Atomicus, you here?
Yep. Greetings, everybody.
Cool. I unmuted you properly. So,
Great, good job.
why are we doing this? Why are we doing this, Atomicus? You approached me with this idea.
Alright, so I went on Reddit. A bunch of people just told me that it would be great if they could see the point of view from a Platinum level, heavy, or a ETFTL Div 1, whatever you consider me. And they would like advices and commentary, so I thought, why not? And you offered help, so I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're still not entirely sure how to do this, which is the best way, of course. Team Fortress 2 does not have like a synchronized way of showing demos, so in case like I see something, I have to stop and like go back again and re-watch something. It's gonna be a fucking pain in the ass to get Atomicus to be synced with me. So one option is like to have him watch the stream, but that's gonna be a lag and that's gonna be really weird because I will always be ahead. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna watch the same demo, no pauses, no nothing. We're just gonna commentate and we're gonna do one or two of these. So first one is gonna be on Viaduct Pro. And before we start, what was this game?
Well, this was basically a scrim against Suki doing work. It was my team, Spirits in the Shell. I remade the team, replaced a couple of players, and
Like
we
me?
remade it. Yeah.
I'm not fucking in that team.
Look, you told me that you're gonna focus on UGC on casting, so
Yeah.
no offense. All right, so yeah, this was a scrim against Suki doing work. We're back in UGC. We hijacked Polecats, Oodles team, and we're basically continuing in UGC so we can be actually registered because the sign-ups were closed when I remade the team.
All right. So for anybody wondering, I kind of left on my own regard. I didn't get kicked out. I was just like, I want to focus on casting. And it's quite likely I will be making a return next season. We'll see how it goes, depending on like university and jobs and all that crap. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to unpause. So you can do the countdown, and on 1 we unpause, and then we just go.
All right, sounds good. 3, 2, 1.
All right. So we're gonna watching your point of view. We're gonna be playing on. You're gonna be playing on Viaduct.
Yes, indeed. In my opinion, it's a really hard map for heavy. I think one of the hardest maps to deal with as a heavy.
Yeah, and the reason it's hard for heavy, like from a casting point of view, is that this map really favors Demoman, like a lot, because of, like, the way sticky bombs and stickies work, and you don't really have those sidelines. And that's pretty common for most like King of the Hill maps, but maybe especially this one, and Lakeside is like not very that heavy friendly.
Yeah, it's really hard because there's so many things that can kill you. You have to be careful about the spam. You need to be careful of the sniper, spy. Always check your back. Soldier dive bombing at you, and of course, I got to mention that they use the wrong config, so they're gonna have to restart this.
Yeah, I know, but that's okay. So, with all these styles, we'd like to comment on your style, and this is like one of the first where I actually have the person here. So it's not just going to be my thoughts, because I actually know like your state of mind, because you actually remember and you can like always argument for what's going on. So how would you like characterize your own heavy style? Like if you were to say, like, I'm very...
I think my own style would be something surprising, like shocking. Like people should expect me somewhere where they usually don't expect me. It's kind of like that. Like I surprise them by either flanking them or popping up from places where they don't expect. Or I can surprise the sniper by jumping right in front of him and he doesn't expect that and I actually manage to kill him. Which, doing that, to a sniper is pretty a big deal because he's the hard counter.
Absolutely. And this style is also summed up in 2 words, which is extremely aggressive. You are not the type of heavy that falls back as soon as you've taken any damage. You kind of stay in there and you get the job done, and sometimes you get killed, but sometimes you get those like surprise frags, which is... I don't think every heavy can pull this off, and I think you need like a team that understands like that you like to do this and can kind of support you. I think I work pretty well with you because I'm also a very aggressive sniper. I'm like, I'd rather die than fall back most of the time, so that's kind of like that. So one of the reasons you said me want to do this is like there's not a lot of heavy point of views in the competitive scene. And there's a lot of like sniper and spy focus, you know, on my like we just had, I think 2 or 3 in a row where just looking at snipers and stuff like that because snipers is my main class. But I think it's important to show that heavy, like, what would you say like is the general term like people talk about heavies?
Well, usually people think that heavy is not so interesting because you just shoot. It's kind of like the pyro, so they think it's not interesting. Except that the pyro, you have air shots with the flare and all sort of things like that. But with heavy, you don't have anything right like that. But I think like the heavy, it's pretty important because you have positioning. Like it's different on. When it comes to game sense, like that's such a huge deal as a heavy, and a lot of people don't understand that, and they think it's actually an easy class until they actually play it, and they end up dying, and then they're wondering why the hell they're dying because they think it's an easy class.
Yeah. So how much would you say like heavy is skill based? Do you see? Is it more based on your aim, or is it more based on your positioning? If it was one out of the two, like. What's it better to have? Is it better to have extremely good positioning and okay aim, or is it good to have extremely good aim but okay positioning? Like, if you can pick, you couldn't have both.
Positioning would be the most important thing as a heavy. Aim, not so much, because it's pretty easy. Most of the time, you're not going to encounter the scout one-on-one, or like different classes that might kill you, or flanking classes that might kill you. Usually staying back, like normal heavies, usually just staying back, do damage, and that's fine, and usually you don't need that much.
Yeah, currently like you're doing now. You have like some distance, and you're just doing chip damage, and like Mint here just finished off one of the Suikoden Works players here. And this was a scrim. This was not an official match. But yeah, I'm sure you two could seriously ask one, because that's what you do when you practice. So, a lot of heavies we see do that. I'm starting to see it more and more in Highlander, that pushes, you usually send in a pyro first, and then like a heavy after, and just have the heavy like do damage from afar in the back. Seems to be getting more and more popular within the Highlander scene on all levels. So that's like kind of a new meta that we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the map. That's also important, because the reason why I'm holding back on this particular map is because if I'm gonna be too aggressive, I'm gonna end up dying, either from spam, either from the sniper. You're gonna notice that their spy actually stabs me only 2 times. He didn't manage to stab me that many times, so I'm not checking my back as constant as I usually do. But that's another thing, like, you need to have like a huge awareness is really important as a heavy as well, like knowing that you have your team behind you, knowing that the spy needs to make some decisions, like who's he gonna stab first, either the heavy, the demo, or the medic, and you know that, you keep that in your mind, or regarding on where your team calls the spy. For example, if there are going to be some examples when the spy is going to be on our cliff, and I know, and I'm going to keep that at the back of my head, that if the spy wants to stab me, it's going to take him like 5 seconds to get to me, and I'm not going to turn my back until then. So knowing things like that and having that thought process during the game is really important as heavy. So yeah, game sense, it's more important than actually aim.
Yeah. Game sense is actually the most important thing about anything, because it allows you to predict timings such as enemy Ubers and enemy movement, and it allows you to maximize your damage a lot. Like you said, like if you know there's a spy behind you, but you have like let's say 4 seconds before it gets to you, if you spend those 4 seconds just killing something else in the meantime, you're going to be doing a lot more damage. And we're seeing that especially in the lower divisions of Highlander, that players don't necessarily do that as well. Like when they see a spy, they get completely sidetracked, and they're completely just focused on the spy. Like at all, so it's just really high-end stuff. And for players who are like really want to play heavy, but they being yelled at from the other team that they're noobs and they suck, even though they absolutely destroy them. Do y'all like any general tips for like any new heavies that are like players that really like heavies but are like having a hard time?
Well, I think any tips like for players that want to get into the heavy scene as a main, at least, would be to constantly try to learn, like have a better awareness overall, like know where things are gonna be, know where the huge pushes are gonna be, and position yourself in a in the right way so you can take care of those pushes in the best possible way.
And a lot of players also say, like, medic, heavy is nothing without his medic, but I think like you can do really well as a heavy even without a medic.
That's just an excuse, honestly. It's like blaming the pyro for you getting stats. Like, you should never do that. Actually, funny enough, I watched the stream for from their NG's point of view, and their heavy was getting really mad over the fact that he was getting stabbed by our spy, which at that point was Grandpa. He did a great job, and he was getting stabbed all the time. I think he got stabbed 9 times by the spy, and he was raging on Mumble that the pyro wasn't doing his job. But you can't blame the pyro. Like, it is your duty to check your back more often, especially if the spy is targeting you. Like, if you notice that you're the main target of the spy, turn your back more often.
Yeah, and also the few times I play heavy as well, I like to position myself so that if the spy comes and gets me, he will actually be at a disadvantage if he tries to kill me instead of someone else. And like, even as a sniper, that's also important. Like, I don't use the Razorback, and I know that I'm a target, so sometimes I can work as a buffer because you have pretty good game sense. So I think, like, as soon as, like, let's say your medic here, Nady, if she gets stabbed, you will immediately turn around and kill the spy. Like, there's like a split second because your reaction time is really that good. I hope. I think.
Yeah, exactly. Like, usually, if like I said earlier, you know, knowing that the spy has a couple of choices to do before he actually gets to you also affects your style as well, because most of the time, like, we're sitting in this group and the group is mainly like this death ball, you know, heavy, demo, pyro, and medic. And the spy has to deal with that, and I know that I'm usually in front, and in my back I have our demo, pyro, and medic, and the spy needs to deal with some things. And if somebody of us, like if the demo gets stabbed, I turn instantly around. If our medic yells or gets just a bit of, you know, just one hit stab type of thing, I just turn around instantly and I kill the spy, and so on and so forth. So having that awareness and knowing how the spy works as well, and when he needs to attack you, like, you know that the spy is always gonna jump on you when you're spinning your minigun.
Alright, so this was the first round. You won pretty convincingly. You were, well, convincingly. You won, at least. So explain the thought process behind your choice of unlocks.
So there's a lot of, like, there's a big controversy going on between the Guru and the Fist of Steel, and a lot of heavies, for some reason at least, like, I don't understand from my point of view why they're choosing the Guru over the Fist of Steel, because it's such a gamble. Like, in the past, when they weren't nerfed, I was using them a lot because who wouldn't use them, right? You get a boost for running really fast, they're really freaking useful. But take as an example Granary. Like, it's a long map. Let's say, you know, you just spawn from the first point and you need to go all the way to the middle. Getting the Guru is really useful when you think about it. But for example, what if they have a scout behind your enemy, like your lines, and you encounter him? By the time you switch to your minigun, by the time you do anything, you're dead. You know, he has mini crits against you. You're gonna die so fast. And the same thing with escaping. Like, if you want to escape, if the enemy team just popped Uber and you want to run away from them, you're gonna most of the time just die with the Guru instead of actually using the Fist of Steel, which will increase your chances of survival. And especially on a map as Viaduct, survival as a heavy is the most important thing.
Yeah. And also what a lot of players also don't consider is that you have, like, spawn waves, and you have, like, the way the game is designed, that, like, originally heavy is supposed to be the last guy to get on the point because he's, like, really slow. And that can actually work in your advantage sometimes, because sometimes being first as a heavy just means you're going to get focused down at first, because, you know, you big target, you're quite easy to hit compared to others. You move really slow and, you know, easy for snipers and stuff to kill. But, like, if you come to the battle after the battle has started and your team has kind of worn down the enemy team, it's very easy to play, like, cleanup crew as a heavy if they're already pretty weak. If you get that full heal, which is something, like, which happens automatically when you just run the Fist of Steel and normal Fist of, well, anything but the gloves running originally, for the most part. And for anybody wondering, taking mini crits is the same as taking 35% additional damage from any kind of source, so you die really fast.
Yeah, I mean, they're even here, like, they're heavies using the Guru, and for a map like this, like, in my mind, I just don't understand, because the map is small. You can maximize your speed by having your soldier using the whip for your rollout if you so desire. And like you said, you know, coming last on the point can actually help you out. Like, if the team is worn out, then you can help them out, come and act as a tank and deliver more damage in case they overextend, which happened during this match. You're going to notice that some of them overextend and they get punished for that. And there are moments when their heavy is trying to escape with the Guru, but he gets killed because of that mini crit damage that he receives. So I really think it's not really a good choice. Maybe during some maps, but again, it's so risky because you can encounter a soldier behind you, a spy that can just kill you in 2 shots with a revolver or 3 shots. It's really no point of having that risk and then having to wait another 50 seconds of respawn instead of actually playing it safe and having the Fist of Steel.
Yeah, so the last thing I want to talk about this, it's purely technical, is the sensitivity. Like, what kind of sensitivity do you use?
The kind of sensitivity where I can do a 360, I think, by moving my mouse 1 millimeter or 1 centimeter.
1 millimeter, that's really small. So you can turn 180 on 1 centimeter? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you have extremely high sensitivity.
Yeah. It's like, it's how I played from the beginning. I don't know, FPS games. I never got used, like I didn't have a problem getting used to it. I never get dizzy. And for the heavy, it really fits because using this, you can pretty much act like a sentry. Like usually what I do, it's the same thing that the engines can do. Like you have that window when you're upgrading your buildings, when you're hitting them with your wrench, you can turn around for like 1 millisecond just to check for the spy. The same thing you can do as a heavy whenever you're jumping. Like most of the time when I'm just running, I just jump. Like I jump all the time, and during that jump that I do, I turn around for like 1 millisecond just to check my back. Like
Yeah,
doesn't matter, 2 times every
and
single
spinning
time.
your gun. You're talking
Yeah,
about,
exactly. Yeah.
Everybody should use that. You do that all the time. Like we rarely see you spin up your gun without jumping.
Yeah,
The
it's
only
like-
downside
it's
of
my
doing
reflex.
that, if there's like a surprise. Okay, there we got you killed Airfix there with when he was using the Groot to try and escape, and you did mini
Yeah.
so you killed him really fast. Usually, what happens is that you die anyway. Like if you're really low on health and you need to escape, you can either escape slower but take less damage, or you can escape faster and take more damage, and it's pretty much the same. Except with the Fist of Steel, you kind of pretty much turn into a rock. Like, if you have a medic healing you, you can stand with the Fist of Steel in the open, and like a sniper can't kill you at all. Like, because of that reduced damage, it's really good. But you do get slower weapon switch from it, so if you have to like really quickly give your medic like a sandwich, or switch to the shotgun if you're like a shotgun user. And there, we saw the health pack disappear actually, so you should know there's a spy here. And you did, you turn around and saw the spy, and that is game sense. If you guys didn't see that, go back in the VOD on YouTube. You will actually see Atomicus seeing that health pack that was right in front of him just actually disappear, and then you just stop, turn around, and kill the spy. And so many players don't notice that at all. Especially like players who play 6s, where spies aren't really that common. When they play heavy, they have like really poor game sense, comparatively.
Yeah, things like that, or knowing the loadout that the enemy spy is using. Like, for example, when I know that the enemy spy is using Deadringer, then, you know, I kill him, and even though I go and try and pick up his weapon and I realize he's using Deadringer, I'm not worrying about him because I know that one of my teammates behind me is going to hear him, and then he's going to get called, and I'm going to be able to act according to that. If I know that he's using regular cloak, I become more focused on the spy. I know that he can show up to like behind me and things like that. So all of those things really affect, like, it's regarding game sense overall.
So I think the next round, there's going to be a round after this one, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think it's up to three wins.
Yeah, okay, so all the guys have to do is commentate. So I think next round we will actually just purely commentate on your play and no meta, like nothing, so you can just go through your like thought process. Obviously we don't hear the call, so we don't have the same amount of information available. But you do win your second round against Suki doing work. So we're going to be seeing that right now.
Yeah, for some reason they're calling it GG even though we have one more round. But yeah, like I said, I did watch their stream. They were pretty pissed for some reason. They played poorly, and yeah, especially their heavy, because he was blaming the pyro. And again, that's another thing that teams shouldn't do. They shouldn't like get annoyed at things. They should just calmly try to understand the situation and try to fix things as best as they could, because, you know, just being angry and everything is not going to do any good for the team overall, and you're just going to keep losing.
Yeah, and it benefits the spy too. But right there we saw you were the guy in the front, you did a lot of the heavy lifting, a lot of the heavy pushing, and as a result the spy just killed you.
Yeah, that was of course there are some mistakes on my part there. I think I'm not sure on which one on what round or if we passed it already, but there are times when I overextend too much, and that's exactly what you're talking that you said earlier. Overextending, of course, for me it's like a 50% thing. I think in the next demo that we're gonna watch, we're gonna have an example where I go just 300 HP, no buff, no nothing, no overheal, and I managed to kill like 5 or 4 people on the point on Granary in the middle. So it pays off. Sometimes it pays off. The important thing like here is to know when to do the right call. Sometimes you can die and you can punish your own team, and that's a mistake, and of course that's going to harm the team overall. And sometimes you can get even the heavy or demo, you can get a really good pick. So it's a 50-50 thing, and learning how to do the right call regarding those things, it's a a process that I keep learning as I go.
Yeah, I think it's really important to emphasize that classes such as like the heavy and the medic are get the best results in Highlander if you play with a really high sensitivity, because you can just turn around and cover so much more ground. We're going to be seeing you, like, especially after right now, like how fast you turn, and you always overlap the way you turn, so you never like turn completely and miss something. So right here you have the engineer, and you just kill the engineer, and then the mini-sentry. You have a full Uber, and the spy gets killed. You hear the spy gets killed, and you even turn around and look directly at them. So I just wanted to like purely focus on like how you're aiming right now and where you're looking, because heavy is basically just point and shoot. So you see the medics too far away, can't really do the damage. You see the pyro, kill the pyro, because pyros aren't really that good against heavies. You see another engineer, gonna be taking out this mini-sentry. And then you turn around, and then you turn around, and you jump, and you turn around, and then you turn around, and if the spy at any of this point in time would try to stab you, you would have spotted him. Like there, you just look at how fast you turn. This is like really fast compared to others, and you, unlike others who just turn to turn, you actually turn to look. So that's very important. Like if you're a heavy, turn to look, just don't turn fast, just to turn fast. And shoot to kill, don't shoot to shoot.
Yeah, exactly. There are some people that are just turning just for turning, but they don't actually realize what they saw when they turn. It's like they just turn just for the heck of turning or something. I don't understand. But yeah, when you turn, you usually turn to actually look and understand what's going on behind you.
So, we saw this earlier actually, where you just turned around and like you saw a spy decloak inside your own hut there. And you later just did the timing, and then later you killed the spy. So if you're, again, watching on the YouTube, you can go back and take a look at that. So also taking a little cover here, as you took a lot of damage here. Also the game sense plays into knowing how much damage you can put out compared to how much damage you're taking. And usually I think if you're a spun up heavy with no buffs and no heal, if you run into an overhealed heavy, I think, and you're spun up and he isn't, I think you can kill him before he kills you, even though he has overheal. I think.
Yeah, when it comes to heavy versus heavy, it really depends on locations, like where you're situated, because, for example, there can be some, I would say, problems to some extent, but, for example, when heavy is on the stairs and you're just on flat ground, the aim can get a bit, not glitchy, but a bit uncomfortable for one of the heavies. Like sometimes I actually manage to miss a couple of bullets because the heavy is on the stairs and he slips down the stairs or something like that, and it screws up my aiming. And it's just random factor, but those things can affect as well. Like I don't usually position myself on stairs for that apparent reason, but sometimes I have the unfortunate to deal with that.
Yeah,
but yeah, when it comes to heavy versus heavy, yeah, it's important who starts to shoot first and who has more heals, and of course the reaction time as well. Like if I start attacking a heavy from behind, depends how fast it will be. Like for example, if it will be, I would turn around instantly. If it will be a slow heavy and he wouldn't know who's shooting him, then I would be able to kill him even if he would be overhealed and I wouldn't be overhealed.
And of course, like you being this high sensitivity, there's always advantages and disadvantages to have lowing sense and higher sense. The advantage of having high sensitivity is that you can see a lot more, and you can hit a lot faster stuff that's far away. But usually things that are moving slowly in front of you can be a bit harder to hit because you usually overshoot. So you kind of have to like go back and forth, kind of like in a back and forth motion to get the kill. And we saw you actually do that like earlier. Scout was actually right in front of you, but he kept strafing, so you kept overshooting him, and then he killed you because he couldn't get the lock on him.
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to scouts, there is like that issue, and sometimes it works. Like sometimes the tracking is really good. Sometimes not. Like there was an example when the scout was on stairs, and that completely ruined everything because I was expecting him to jump, but he wasn't jumping. He was on the stairs. He was just going up and down, and that completely screwed my aim, and I couldn't track him properly. So sometimes, yeah, it had some disadvantages, and depends on the distance from between you and the scout as well. So all those things really factor, like have a factor for your aim overall. But most of the time in Highlander, you don't see the scout being so aggressive because you have your team with you, and usually the column, or if you have your pirate, the pirate is going to air blast, or you have the mini sentry, which is going to scare the scout, and so on. So you need to understand exactly each class what can do to other classes, and so on and so forth.
Okay. It's important to keep that in mind.
So
Did
the
you want to do
demo is
another one?
done. Yeah, just checking which one. I think the Granary one.
Okay. That's the one that isn't called Barn Blitz. So you mentioned Granary, and are you using the gloves of running originally on Granary?
No.
You are not. That is unusual because I think like Granary's the kind of map you have to run to do that. So we're going to see how that affects your play because that's interesting and kind of unorthodox. So I'm loading the replay right now, so you just kind of tell me when you're fully loaded. And also you got Granja Bob on your team, which is like he's like a really good spy. So I think
Yes, indeed.
Is he using the revolver or is he ambassador?
I think he's using the revolver.
Yeah. It's a bit more stable. So let me know when you've loaded.
Yeah, I need to restart because TF2 crashed on me, because that's how the demo works.
For
Good job, Valve.
It's just your computer. Works fine with me. I'm not even streaming. I don't know. It's not a Romanian computer of yours. Is it? Never mind. So for anybody wondering, what teams or team or leagues are you currently playing heavy in?
I'm currently playing in UGC. We are waiting for a 12 to start. It was supposed to start in September, early September, but for some reason it didn't start because that's a 12 as per usual. But yeah, we are currently playing in UGC, even though like when I remade the team, UGC already started, so we couldn't sign up anymore, and we had to hijack Udal's team, which is Marble Polecats, and they already had like 2 losses. So basically, we're starting with 2 losses, and because of that, we're ending up playing against like teams that have 2 losses as well. So yeah, it's kind of not fair towards them. But yeah, at the moment, we're just having it really easy in UGC. But yeah, UGC at the moment.
I also really, if you could provide me the Source TV from the scrim you're going to do against SNSD, that'd be really cool. Because for some of you who don't know, SNSD is, are they still the best Highlander team in Europe? I think Dara Tutu is, or was. I'm not entirely sure. I guess we'll have to wait until the end of the season to figure that out, huh? Who's the best this season?
Yeah, that's something that I'm really looking forward for the scrim against them, because they're a solid team. And yeah, at the moment, like we're trying to just get scrims against really good teams. I don't like top platinum teams. Like it's all good. Kill Switch, Suki didn't work. Like we already played. So yeah, looking forward to playing against these teams.
What's the status on your?
Right, I am at 466 in the demo.
466. Okay, I will go to 400 then. Alright, you do the countdown, and then we'll just start.
Great. 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so you're playing heavy, and you're currently being whipped.
Yeah, again, like being whip can like minimize that slowdown from using the Fist of Steel. And yes, a lot of people probably rage and be like, why the hell are you not using Guru? But again, it's just something that I used, especially on CP maps. You know, I have the mentality that most of the people are going to play it as 6 versus 6, like scouts and soldiers, and they're going to be very aggressive and try to get behind you.
One thing I already wanted to notice and maximize, once you run past that health pack down there, you should actually swap it for your sandwich, so it's actually a medium health pack instead of the middle one. So it's like tiny little thing. That's something I always do as a heavy. Make sure to replenish the lower health packs with my sandwich.
Yeah, that's also something that I do sometimes. For example, now I didn't do it, but yeah, sometimes like I just throw the sandwich because it's replenishing more health than the pills, and then I replenish and take the pills and so on and so forth. There, like in the beginning when I was on the ramps, that was a good example of the Fist of Steel actually saving my life because I survived. If I would have used Guru, I would have been dead. I would receive more damage, and I would be dead before going outside the doorway.
Yeah, and also notice that most of the times when you jump, you check your back, and you also see the spy. And do you think the spy is dead now, or is it dead ringing?
I think the spy is dead.
Yes.
Usually, like the reason why I know that is because I check the scoreboard. I check even like, for example, in this situation when I'm just staying here, I'm chilling, there's nothing going on. I can just check the scoreboard and just look there for like 5 minutes and see if the spy is actually dead.
Yeah, that's like one way of doing it. So of course you have pyros around corners, can pretty much air blast heavies as long as they have ammo. Taking out that sniper, making sure he doesn't kill your medic. And now you're just taking a lot of damage, being a big tank and doing some damage.
Yeah, I was really cocky over there, just taking too much damage. I was expecting to deliver more damage from my side as well, like together with the demo, but it didn't happen, so we had to back up. Again, this is different. Like I'm not playing with my team, with Sia's. I'm playing with Kennel's team, a team called Wong's Fair Spirits. So completely different. I'm not used to the players as much as with my team. So of course it has a different game sense for this team, because it's hard to trust some people that you barely played. So you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. Playing with somebody for a longer time, you really get used to how they like to play, and especially with like a heavy medic demo pyro combo, that's really important to do so. But you like there hasn't really been any ground, like you haven't been able to push onto the middle point like at all so far. And you're kind of just being hanging out back here and not being able to do that much.
Yeah, this is very different from the previous Scream, because this is like usually I am the one who does the main calling and I know where to go and everything, but like here the medic is actually the one main calling. I just follow, I just try and do as much damage as possible. So it is very different, and it's not something that I'm comfortable with. But again, like I'm just trying to get used to a different style for this match, for example.
Yeah, and especially like if you're the heavy and you're the main caller, your team usually plays heavy oriented. Like they very much rely on you and give you most of the Ubers, but like in a team where a heavy isn't the main caller, it's most commonly demo oriented play here. So you actually killed, was that the demo you killed there? I think it was.
Yeah,
you killed the demo, and that's a very big pick. That means no more sticky trap. You also catch the heavy off guard.
Yeah, we had a huge advantage here, so we needed to push.
Yeah, so this is where you get the momentum, and like you have the option that you can pretty much pick wherever you want to go, and you actually encounter the pyro at the worst possible spot you could have countered.
Yeah, that was very unfortunately encountering a pyro in a like small area like that is basically
yeah, like you basically go around the corner and you just cross your fingers and be like, I hope to God I don't meet a pyro, and then the pyro's there and you're like, Mah! And then you're dead.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like depends. If he wouldn't be overheal, maybe I would have killed him because I was overheal. But yeah, he was overheal as well, so that was unfortunate.
And actually we're going to have this nice little bug here where it's fire around the screen, but that's okay because you're on fire the entire time, I guess. So yeah, this is one of the downsides of using the Fist of Steel. It takes a while to get back into the action, but it looks like your team is already pushing in, putting on, well, at least some pressure on the point here, and we can, oh wow, actually, a lot of players down for your team there.
Yeah, unfortunately, and I encountered the soldier. And for example, this, right now, if I would have the Guru, would I have survived? No, I would be dead, and the soldier would be alive. So this is an example why Fist of Steel is more viable. It would have taken me a couple of seconds, sure I would have gotten faster, I would have died, and then I would have to wait 15 seconds again to respawn.
Yeah, so this was actually pretty advantageous of you because like we mentioned earlier, like there's respawn waves and how the dynamic worked. Like your team actually died there before you got there, and then you encounter that soldier. You would probably have encountered the soldier a lot faster if you run the gloves running urgently, but you would have died anyway. And this is really ballsy, man. Eating the sandwich right next to the point.
It is. It is.
No, yeah, of course you're gonna peek. You're gonna peek, and you're gonna see the pyro. And right now the pyro can't really do all that much, but there's too much red, and yeah, now the heavy.
And I end up dying anyway. Yeah, something that I'm trying to do when I'm eating sandwich is spam voice commands, because I'm thinking that it can just cancel the sandwich sound of eating the sandwich, but sometimes it's not working. Like it's working for me, but for other players it's not working, and they can still hear me. And yeah, that's That sucks, but I'm trying that, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, well, you're a heavy that spams void commands pretty much constantly. And you call medic a lot, and a lot of players might find that annoying, but it's actually really good for your medic, because the medic will know where you are at all times, and if a spy goes spy heavy, they will know absolutely sure it's not you. Like, because you always call that.
Yeah, I mean, like, the issue, like, the reason why I'm spamming voice commands is because of playing StarCraft 2 too much, of course, but yeah, one of the reasons for spamming medic is that the medic needs to know where I am, like the death ball is where I am. People need to be around me, because I'm slow, so they need to come to me, not the other way around.
Yeah, I also noticed that when I used to play with you, it was always really, really nice to hear where you were calling medic from, because you were always calling it, so I would always have like a good idea of where you were. And because of that fact, you get targeted, but it also helps us to get in position as well. So it's kind of like a subconscious thing. And now you're just calling for a put dispenser. I always call for put dispenser when I'm low on ammo whenever I play heavy. That's kind of like my thing. I'm not sure if anyone else does that.
Yeah, I do it all the time. I mean, it's the heavy. Everybody should do it.
Yeah, you should just bind a key to that, because I mine bound to F. F is put dispenser for me. And I actually use Z to call for medic. I don't use E, because for me, E is calling spy. Because, you know, old Team Fortress Classic days, you called for medic using Z or Z. And you actually get the Demo Man, which is a nice pick indeed, and you kind of just have the momentum here. And this is what I'm talking about. You have like the heavy in the back, and you team in the front, and you just do pick damage to whatever, and you win.
Yeah, another thing that you have, like you can do with the Fist of Steel is capping a point when you know there's like a sentry, like a level 1 sentry, or when you have like classes that can deliver, you know, bullet damage or anything like projectiles. And yeah, it has your it has advantages pretty much most of the time. Sure, sometimes, you know, when your medic is on fire and has only like 5 HP and you need to throw that sandwich really fast, it can be problematic, but most of the time it actually serves me pretty well. So I would really recommend heavies to actually use this instead of Guru, even on CP maps.
So here pretty early you got disconnected from your medic, and you're kind of just stuck there without any
help.
Yeah,
unfortunately, like, I keep telling my team to stick with me because that's how it's supposed to be, and they know that I'm not using Guru. I told them that I'm using Fist of Steel because it's more viable. And the medic just goes with the demo on the crate. I'm left behind, and the NG usually builds a mini sentry, and the sniper shows up, and I am shot down.
Yeah, and actually the heavy there, just because he had gloves running urgently when he peeked around the corner, he actually took up over half his health. Just from that little area. So, and then like your scout, Tanuki Sparkle finished him off off camera. You actually couldn't see that, but that's like another thing. But sometimes getting into the fight faster is better than getting there slower. So it's really like, I don't think Fists of Steel are better than the Gru. I think they're both good, but they're good at their own things. Like
yeah, I mean, it's
and also,
of course.
Yeah, one thing I really want to mention is that, of course, when you're using the Fists of Steel, you're usually running with the minigun. So that means your spin-up time from seeing an opponent is just going to be to spin up your gun. But if you're using the gloves running urgently and you run into somebody, you have to first switch to your gun and then spin it up. So like your spin-up time is slightly longer when your gloves are running urgently, running with them. Yes.
Yeah, it is situational. I agree with that. It just feels more safer for me because I've used Guru, and there are moments when I just get killed on my way to the point or something like that, and it's a lot of wasteful time when I could just, you know, help my team play it safe and so on and so forth. And I can use the Fist of Steel, for example, to clear stickies. If they're just 2 or 3 stickies, I can just go there and the demo's gonna detonate them, and I'm gonna survive.
As a heavy though, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to get crits, or do you prefer Uber?
It's really situational on the maps, honestly, because I would prefer crits overall. Because as an Uber, like usually what happens, I get Uber, everybody runs away from me because it's really hard to catch them. If I would, for example, on Granary, like if I drop from, this is a moment when I kill everybody without overheals, without anything.
Yeah, because you actually got the heavy in the fray there. A sniper overextends, the spy tries to do something, you take him out as well. And just having a really steady aim is good. Eventually the demo man kills you there, but you got a lot of kills. Like you kill an overhealed heavy, and his reaction time is actually pretty slow compared to yours. So that was actually a very good exchange there for you. That was just was it 3 or 4 kills, something like that? So that's
Yeah,
a 1
4
for
kills.
yeah. So that means like there's 9 players. So you actually took out. There's only 6 left after you died, and that is something your team should be able to handle.
Yeah, pretty much. There's no excuse for not having overheal or anything like that. There's a lot of heavies that go like, oh my god, I have just 200 HP. I'm gonna stay back and wait for the medic. No, you can do so much when the enemy team is not expecting. And their heavy was distracted. He wasn't expecting me. I just jumped over him. He was overheal. His reaction was really bad. I managed to kill him. Then my next target was the medic. Did some damage, then I had to prioritize other targets, and now I had the sniper, spy, the hard hunters to heavy, and I still managed to kill them, and then the medic died as well afterwards, courtesy of our sniper, Milkman.
Yeah, and here you're just going through, plowing through, and usually the way that works an Uber from casting games and watching that is normal Uber is usually just a positional Uber. It's not necessarily to kill the enemy team, but it's to get a forward foot in the next push you're gonna do, which is probably gonna happen without an Uber. But here, it doesn't look like it's gonna work for you. Like you Ubered in, you got the ground, but you went too far ahead on your own, and your team couldn't follow, and counter Uber came in, split you in half, and you just died.
Yeah, definitely the issue here was that the team was not used to my aggressive style. Like, it's really important to have synergy with the team and know how you play, and that's why, like, it takes a long time. And I feel like all the top level teams should already have that sorted out. Like, if you are thinking of going in, I don't know, Platinum, and you have issues like synergy, and you don't know when to push, you don't know how to stick together, anything like that, it's gonna be really hard.
And there the heavy actually did a number on you there. I would have thought like if you would have just focused fire down the heavy, you could maybe have killed him, because he did take mini crits, but apparently not.
Yeah, no, he was overkill, I think I was overkill as well, but there was the demo as well, and there was just too much damage.
So right now, what are like your thoughts in this situation as a heavy? What do you do?
My thoughts at the moment is just to defend. Like, usually my spot here on the last is go on pipes, throw a sandwich for whoever needs it, and just hold here, because usually what happens, if they're gonna push from above, I can just get with the Uber in that doorway and just stay there and have a chat with the enemy team until they decide to leave.
Yeah, and you're also calling for medic a lot, so the medic always knows where you are, and also has another effect. Like if a sniper is peeking and you call for medic, you actually raise your hand, and the heavy's hand is pretty big, so it actually covers your face. So you can, I think if you call for medic and look slightly to the right, if the sniper's looking right at you, he can't headshot you because it will hit your arm. The same goes for charging as well. I haven't seen that many players use that. I guess that's just really high tier. But yeah, you died.
Yeah, happens. A lot, I think. In this game, I think I died way more than I usually do. But again, like I said, it's a team that I'm not used to. I don't know exactly how everybody's playing. I'm usually trying to just deal with things on my own. I could play solid and just stick more behind, play more defensively, but I was just trying to get more picks, like try to handle things more on my end and not like use the team more often. So I think now here we lost, yep. I think the scrim was a tie, so I don't think we won.
Yeah, it's they were about halfway there, so it's gonna be a pretty long scrim, I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, it covers a couple of things. Like, you know, like we saw the middle point where I managed to get a lot of picks, even though I was an overkill and my team was dead. Another thing that teams should usually do, or players, even though you see like you lost your medic, you shouldn't get demoralized and be like, oh my god, our medic is dead, I'm gonna retreat and wait for the demo to come back for that overheal. No, you can still do things, you can be super aggressive even though you lost your medic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've seen Killswitch do this a couple of times actually, where they force and like especially on Barnabas. I bring this up all the time, but it was just such a good example where they just I think they were playing against Isolgud, and basically they forced an Uber and killed a Wrangled level 3 sentry without a medic on attack. So, you know, if you just but they have really good positioning, and in Team Fortress 2, the teams who win are usually the teams that are better at helping each other. So the less you go like solo Rambo and the more you stick together as a team and help each other out, the better you will do. And you will hear Sixes players from the top tiers say this a lot too, so It's important. It's good to have individual skill, but it's better to have individual skill that goes well with the rest of your team. Such as if you're like this team obviously plays a bit more defensively and not as aggressive as you're used to, and because of that, you often find yourself left alone in the front lines while they're falling back because they're usually not used to being as aggressive in that sort of situation.
Yeah, definitely, and I just end up going by myself and getting maybe a pick or two, but then I end up dying instead of actually having the demo with me, or a soldier, and capitalize on pushing very aggressively and get forward positions and things like that. Like for example, here the heavy was still on top and nobody really knew about it until I called it out.
I actually thought for a second there the sniper killed the medic, but actually it was on the other team that killed someone else with a headshot. So
yeah, I was expecting that as well. Like as soon as I saw the medic, the sniper, I thought, oh, our medic's gonna die.
Yeah,
but
like as a main sniper, it happens sometimes where you get close to the heavy and you just kill the medic before you die. It's the best feeling in the world, and as a heavy, it's a pretty bad feeling. But that was a pretty convincing push. That was like all the way through. That was just a roll, more or less. And
yeah,
how many times have you died to a backstab? 0? I don't think you died to stab yet.
I don't think so. No, that is a good observation. I don't think I got stabbed once.
How many headshots have you died to? Not that many either.
I'm not sure.
I think you mostly died to the other heavy and the demo man and the scout and the soldier.
Yeah.
You basically not died to your counter classes.
Yeah, that's usually what happens with me.
But yeah, there are crits, and your medic took a lot of damage. You didn't turn around.
Yeah, this is really bad positioning. The medic just told me to just go on the low ground, which is such a bad idea, and I knew that. But yeah.
Yeah, here you go. Going low ground gets you murdered if the enemy goes high ground.
I mean, yeah, that's common knowledge. But I went with the main caller, so he doesn't think that I don't trust him or anything. But I knew that I'm gonna end up dying. Especially on the midpoint, holding the high ground is really important by default.
It's a bit of an exchange now. The enemy heavy has been killed, and like playing a heavy and the other team not having a heavy. Does that change your game style at all?
Not really. I mean, like usually my positioning depends on where the
that was sloppy medic work. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I mean,
and you should also have been running. You should either start eating a sandwich or pull out the Fist of Steel and take a less. Do you take a less afterburn? I think you do.
I think you do, yeah, because it's not. I don't think it counts as.
I'm sure the people in the comments will let us know if we.
Oh
if we
yeah,
have that wrong. They're very good at correcting.
Oh yeah, that's the internet.
Oh, mini sentries! I bet you love those.
Oh yeah, especially wrangle ones. That is pretty annoying. Like right now, for example, like I'm just doing, even though that was really close. I almost lost that. But yeah, even doing like a bit of damage to the sniper like that, even though it's just a bit, I'm basically doing that just to screw up his aim, because some snipers really feel uncomfortable when that happens. Some snipers can still headshot you even though they're on fire, or they get that flicker type of aiming.
Yeah. Hey, you died just by.
And here I get stabbed, yeah.
The only time you don't check your back or check your left is when you get stabbed. It's like the one time you don't do that, you get taken out.
Yeah, happens. That's another thing, because the more you not get stabbed, you get to a state where you think, oh, the spy is never gonna catch you or something like that, and you get a bit more chilled toward regarding your awareness. But yeah, most of the time I use as I have the reflex of just turning around automatically, but sometimes I don't do it as often because I feel
right
like
there,
I'm not getting
you were
stabbed.
actually chasing somebody. So when you're chasing somebody, especially in TF2 and other games, you kind of just forget everything else and you just focus on the chase, trying to figure out where they went. And that was probably the reason why you didn't check your left side. Let's see, like, if you're going to peek in here, I think you are, and are you going to check the left side? Yes, you are, immediately. That's like the first thing you checked.
Yeah, I mean, definitely if something's going to happen, I'm going to learn from that mistake and try and not do the same mistake twice and gets them. That would be embarrassing, of course. But yeah, another tip for battles against snipers, even though the sniper is like mid-range towards you, you can still jump in front of him and still manage to kill him to some extent. Like, one thing that helps would be to just keep shooting him So he gets that flicker type of aiming and at the same time crouching. And you can actually get sniped so many times.
Oh yeah, I think also like not being afraid of anything helps any team. In any situation, really. Like you saw the sniper, and here's the thing: like if you know sniper timings, it's actually going to take him. Like if you're fully healed heavy, it's going to take him about 3.5 seconds after he's fired, maybe 4 seconds before he's able to kill you again. So if you utilize that timing, that's like a window where like he literally can't kill you. And here the other heavy is overextending, and Uber coming in, and
here it was a misunderstanding because I thought we had crits.
oh yeah.
Because otherwise I would have stayed there. So it was misunderstanding. I thought we had crits and I wanted to run away. And of course I get the heavy. But yeah, we saw on Viaduct, it was a good example regarding like timing for sniper, because it was at some point when I overextended and I knew that the sniper was on their cliff, and I knew that if I'm gonna move I'm gonna die. And I was just waiting there and taking cover, and then
Did your medic
our
die?
medic got killed. Here, I think so.
Okay, because
I'm
it looks like
by
he was running
myself.
away while you were just on the point all by yourself, and now you're gonna...
Or
Fist
no,
of
no,
Steel!
no,
Epic escape! Oh no!
oh
Engineer,
yeah,
you're
I wanted to punch the NG, but it didn't work out. But yeah, over there, this is again, I don't know what happened from my team's part, but I was basically on my phone by myself killing people, and I
You
told
were there for a
everybody
long
to
time, man. There's like no excuse for them not attacking.
Yeah.
That's like
I
pure
was telling them
communication,
to-
lack of understanding there.
Yeah, I was telling them to push because like I got the picks, I got the heavy when they failed to push, and we got the picks. We had to have the point, we had the opportunity, but I think you're right. Like the medic actually ran away from that from me at that point. I was like, why? I didn't understand, and luckily enough I managed to cap the point by myself.
Yeah, the point's still capped, and you're now managing to move up. So, once again, your team that you're playing with right now is not used to your level of heavy-oriented style. And it's like, in positions like this, if your team was used to playing with you, you would probably have capped the middle point right now and maybe have gotten a really high stroll. It's all about, you know, how they read the situations and how much of an advantage you have. Because sometimes you might not have number advantage, but you might have positional advantage, and that can outweigh number advantage. Like
Yeah,
you've seen, like
definitely.
you with the flank you had earlier, like it was like 4 versus 1, and then you killed 3 of them all by yourself because you had that positional advantage. And a back cap. Whoops.
Unfortunately, yep. Their soldier got, and here I was hoping that the medkit is gonna be there for me to get it and get some help, but of course you can't have everything.
No, the medic was actually falling back to deal with this back cap, and it was a good thing they did, because then it would have been a slower cap. But the medic is dead.
Yeah, we lost our medic, but at least we have the points, and they're gonna cap. I think they're gonna manage to cap the last tier. I think it's well, I don't want to spoil the scrim or anything, but I think yeah, it's gonna end soon.
Well,
But yeah, like I said, for Viaduct, what I wanted to add is that I waited for I think our medic died. She got headshotted, and I knew that the sniper needs to reload, you know, to zoom out and then zoom in, and that was my window of actually escaping, and I got rid of that like position where I was really pinned down.
Yeah.
So things like that, like having the timing for classes, knowing how classes work. But I mean, at this stage, at this level, you know those things by default. I mean, you should. Otherwise, yeah, you should not be in platinum.
Yeah. So overall, like, game sense is like the key. And I think I heard a spy decloak. I think I heard a dead ringer. Not entirely sure. Usually, like the one bad thing about having comms and talking a lot is that you won't necessarily hear a spy uncloak right in front of you if somebody's like screaming or yelling. So I think like the key for a successful team is to be really used to each other, so you don't really have to call everything. And because the more you call, the more excited you are, and the more you yell, the more you help the enemy spy get more stabs. And if the spy starts to get stabbed, people start to yell more, making him able to get even more stabs, and it just continues like that. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I completely agree. And yeah, like when you have comms, it's completely harder to actually hear the spy. Here again, I'm being very aggressive. Like I got picks, they fail. I'm trying to make something happen, and I don't think it's gonna work because they have a heavy from above.
Yeah, he actually flanked you from the side there.
Because nobody called him. like usually when I'm, you know, when you're pushing, you expect people to push from different sides.
Yeah, I think you
not
were
actually
trusting
go
somebody to
one
actually
point.
go on the high ground when you were going on the low ground.
Yeah, I was expecting the soldier and the scout because you know
Yeah.
they're flanking classes. They're not gonna push together with us. But you saw the scout. The scout pushed together with us, and yeah, that's not usually what you want. You want the scout to flank because that's his job.
Yeah, but they've like I said, that's the way like this team plays, and you can just see like you have like this trust and this idea of what you think your team is going to be doing, and you act upon that. But if that sense is wrong, it's going to lead you to like a situation like this. You're like so weak right now, and then you get
Yeah, like
murdered.
the only thing I was trying here to do is basically dodge the sniper because I was seeing the sniper there and nobody did anything about him. Like I called him out, the sniper is still there. You can see him constantly just sitting there,
Yeah.
just taking headshots.
The scout also
Again,
went for the other
headshot.
scout, so I think like if your scout were to make a choice, like already the sniper is a big problem. Like finally now, once the push is over, a sniper were like the last guy to die. And for me, like as a sniper, this is exactly what I want. I want to be left alone with overheal in the corner in the back and have nobody pay attention to
Yeah,
me.
exactly. And as a scout, you have to like the main issue would be who to pick. Let me see. So either a scout that is actually moving and it's going to be harder to hit, or the sniper that's standing still. Hard
Yeah, it
choice.
could be
but
like-
again, he went for the scout for some reason, and in my opinion, that's bad.
Yeah, that was a bit of a
game
bad decision.
decision.
Because, I think the scout could have killed the sniper in at least 2 or 3 meat shots, because the sniper was already in scope. The scout might have died to the other scout pretty quickly, but he would have gotten the sniper, and I think you had a pyro at the back, so scout's not that big of a problem in that situation. But you never know, like, that's like, you make decisions, and sometimes you make bad decisions. But hey, that's how you make good decisions, because you get bad decisions from... You get experience from the bad decisions.
You learn from mistakes, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
And right now, like that sniper is in a good spot again. Like sniper sentry in general, just very hard to deal with, especially as a heavy. And
They managed to cap, and it's a tie.
yeah, so you're basically just as good. All right, so
Yeah.
that was it's gonna end now, so we can just end it here. I don't think anything else is gonna happen.
Yep.
So thank you guys for watching. This has been one. We're probably gonna do more of these in the future, kind of like commentaries. This is kind of just like a beta test of this format. So let us know what you think. Any last words?
No, not much. I mean, if you have any questions or anything that we didn't cover regarding heavy plays or anything like that, then you can definitely leave like on the YouTube. You're gonna upload this on
You
YouTube,
can,
right?
yeah, it's gonna be on YouTube. And like, comment, subscribe, favorite.
Definitely.